The January transfer window is a pretty weird time. Because it's in the middle of the season, it is very easy to get things wrong. Most signings at this time are made out of desperation, but a few have ended up being masterstrokes too. Today, we'll be looking at the best and worst winter transfers for some of your clubs. One player features twice. Can you guess who it is? Anyway, we'll start with Liverpool because theirs is just so obvious. Yes, they signed guys like Coutinho and Suarez in January, but their best January signing of all time is easily Virgil van Dijk. He joined in January 2018 and completely elevated the project. He led them to the Champions League final in just a few months and then went on to have an all-timer first full season, helping them win the Champions League and himself finishing second at the Ballon d'Or. He has now gone on to become captain of the club while establishing himself as one of the best center-backs in Premier League history. Their worst, however, has to be Andy Carroll. He joined on deadline day of January 2011 for a British record transfer fee. At the time, Carroll was the 8th most expensive player in football history, so the expectations were very high. But what was the result of this huge money splash? A total of 11 goals in 58 appearances. Not even close to being impressive. Let's now move to Chelsea. Some of you are probably expecting to see Torres as their worst, but we'll do one better. Mykhailo Mudryk. I mean, if anything, Torres still has that goal against Barcelona to help his reputation. What does Mudryk have? To spend 70 million euros on a player in January, have him underperform for 2 years, and then lose him to a failed drugs test is really nothing short of a disaster. Easily the worst January signing in Chelsea's history, arguably in the Premier League's history as well. Chelsea's best, however, has to be Branislav Ivanovic. He came in January 2008 for 13 million euros and went on to establish himself as a proper club legend, winning 10 trophies with Chelsea, including the Champions League, Europa League, and 3 Premier League titles. Dare we say he had the best headers in the whole world at one point. Let's now go to Spain and look at Real Madrid. Their worst January signing has to be Julian Faubert. Real Madrid got him on loan from West Ham in January 2009, and it was a disaster. I mean, Faubert once missed training because he thought he had the day off. He ended up making just 2 appearances for the club, and of course, the option to buy was not exercised. Their best? Honestly, it's a toss-up between Marcelo and Casemiro. Marcelo came in January 2007, while Casemiro came in January 2013, and both of them went on to establish themselves as club legends, winning several trophies and playing very dominant roles in Real's most successful period. If you were to choose just one of these two as Madrid's outright best January signing, who would it be? Tell us in the comments. Let's now move to Manchester United. They have had some really good January signings, like Bruno Fernandes and Patrice Evra, but the best in the club's history has to be Nemanja Vidic. He joined in January 2006, and he quickly formed a partnership with Ferdinand, which would go on to dominate England for years. Vidic won 15 trophies at United, including a Champions League and 5 Premier League titles. On top of that, he was named Premier League Player of the Season 2 times. Yeah, this right here was a January signing like no other. But United's worst January signing is obviously Alexis Sanchez. He joined the club in January 2018, and the anticipation was very high. He was given the highest salary in the league and the grandest of welcomes. But it turned out to be a disaster. He scored just 5 goals in 45 appearances for United and ended up leaving the club 18 months later. For Arsenal, their own best January signing was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who joined Arsenal in January 2018 for a then-club record fee and went on to prove to be worth every penny. Aubameyang was an actual superstar for Arsenal. He became the first Arsenal player to ever score a hat-trick in the semi-finals of a European competition and won the Premier League Golden Boot in his first full season. He led them to the Europa League final in 2019 and carried them to FA Cup success in 2020. He was really that guy. The worst January signing for the Gunners, though, has to be Kim Källström. The Swede was brought in on loan in January 2014, despite not completely passing his medicals. He would then go on to make just 4 appearances as the club struggled that season. What about Manchester City? You can mention Aymeric Laporte or Gabriel Jesus. But we've decided to go for Edin Dzeko. The Bosnian joined City in January 2011, and he turned out to be nothing short of brilliant. He became the first City player to score 4 goals in one Premier League match, then went on to score the equalizer against QPR on the last day of the 2011-12 season to help City win their first ever Premier League. Dzeko had 98 goal contributions for City and was something of a cult hero. Surely a very fruitful January signing. Will this title be taken by Omar Marmoush in some years? What do you think? Their worst, though, has to be Wilfried Bony. City signed him from Swansea in January 2015 for £28 million, making him the most expensive African footballer at the time. Well, he ended up scoring just 11 goals for the club, and once Pep Guardiola joined, he was sent packing. Bad signing for Pep's former club Barcelona. Their worst ever January signing is Felipe Coutinho. Barcelona paid €135 million for the Brazilian in January 2018, making him the 3rd most expensive player in football history to date. But he did not even come close to meeting expectations. Coutinho struggled throughout his time at Barcelona and ended up moving to Aston Villa for €20 million in 2022. For their best winter signing, we're going for Aubameyang. Within context, this was a top signing. He came in for free just before the close of the 2022 winter transfer window at a time Barcelona were in turmoil. But he really helped out with 13 goals in 24 appearances, including a memorable brace in the 4-0 Clásico win and a hat-trick against Valencia. It was short, but it was sweet. And Barcelona fans continue to remember him fondly. On top of that, he made Barcelona a €12 million profit from his sale to Chelsea just 7 months after he joined. Feel free to keep the list going in the comments. Tell us your favorite team and who you think are the best and worst January signings in the club's history. While you're there, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on amazing content like this. Catch you in the next one. Bye.